What's going on YouTube? This is DashFight Dylan bringing you another fighting game video. Tekken has been around for a while. From 1994 to now, the franchise has seen 7 mainline titles, along with a handful of spin-offs, bringing the total roster to over 60 characters. With so many to choose from, it has to be a real challenge for Bandai Namco to decide who is going to be in the starting roster for Tekken 8, which will be announced anytime soon, right? Right? In today's video, we want to look at this gigantic roster and pick some of the characters that we hope to see for one reason or another in Tekken 8. Let's get started. Yoshimitsu. This mysterious ninja has seen every mainline title, and all the spin-offs too, and for a very good reason. Yoshimitsu is an incredibly unique character, both in terms of visuals and playstyle. From game to game, his appearance keeps shifting into something new, though it often combines elements of traditional samurai armor with some other stranger elements like an exposed skull, wings, tentacles. This strange and unique look is a perfect fit for Yoshimitsu's gameplay. The abundance of unorthodox and hyper-specific tools makes him a very interesting character not only to play, but to watch. And because of this uniqueness, he's an extremely expressive character who really rewards people that put in time in learning him. In a relatively grounded franchise like Tekken, a teleporting ninja who stabs himself to kill you, uses his sword as a pogo stick, and flies around like a helicopter is too fun of an addition to miss out on.
Oh, wow!
Ancient Ogre and True Ogre. The main villain from Tekken 3 didn't get to enjoy as much time in the spotlight as some other characters. While True Ogre appeared as a boss in Tekken 5, this duo was only playable in Tekken 3 and all of the tag tournaments. This is somewhat unfortunate because both versions of Ogre have something interesting to offer. Ancient Ogre is a hulking warrior with an Aztec-themed outfit. True to his name, he seems to have a mastery over all the martial arts that have emerged throughout history, which is a solid excuse to create a wholly new character by combining moves from the rest of the cast. True Ogre sheds the form of the muscular warrior and turns into a demon with claws, horns, wings, and a right arm composed entirely of wriggling snakes. His attacks become more ferocious too, with fire breath, heavy lunging strikes, and a flurry of claw swipes. Non-human characters are nothing new to Tekken. After all, we have Mokujin, bears, and even dinosaurs. But True Ogre remains to be one of the few genuinely monstrous characters in the cast alongside Azazel. King and Armor King. The iconic wrestling duo, the face and the heel. Both of these characters have been popular since their inception, and it's easy to see why. The two kings immediately grab attention with their cool designs, and they take inspiration from the real-life Black Tiger and Tiger Mask. As we all know, when Tekken wants to represent something, they go all in, which is why the references to wrestling don't stop at the visuals. Armor King and King are about as close as you can get to the true grappler archetype in Tekken. Both characters love getting in your face and executing one of the classic throws that you might see in a wrestling ring. None of us love getting grabbed, but there are few things as exciting as landing a rolling death cradle or ending the round with a giant swing. And of course, it would be great to see another chapter in the story of their long-running rivalry. Jaycee. Speaking of wrestling, Jaycee is another criminally underappreciated character. Jaycee is Julia Chang's persona and takes on the appearance and style of a lucha libre wrestler. It's an incredibly fun spin on the character, yet she only appeared in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 and Tekken Revolution. While she maintains many attacks based on Chinese martial arts, she also gains wrestling moves. Her speed and agility set her apart from King and Armor King. The return of Jaycee may not seem super likely, but Julia got a lot of love when she was announced as a DLC character for Tekken 7, and she retained some of her wrestling moves. Jinpachi. Now, it might as well be set in stone that Kazuya and Jin have to be on the base roster. But there is one member of the Mishima family that has been somewhat neglected. He was properly introduced as a playable character in Tekken 5, where he was also the main antagonist of the story mode. Unlike other members of the Mishima family, Jinpachi was an honest and honorable man, even becoming friends with Wang. Despite potentially being over a century old, Jinpachi is an absolute beast of a man, towering over most of the cast and bound with muscle. This old man proves himself a patriarch of the Mishima family with a refined but immensely powerful version of the Mishima style karate. Mokujin. Mokujin is an interesting character in his own right. He's a wooden trading dummy that came to life and seems to know every style of martial arts that exist. Despite never speaking a word, the Tekken team managed to make him rather expressive and likable through some hilarious and charming final cutscenes. However, the best part about Mokujin is he's an insanely unique way for a player to express their knowledge of the cast. Since he switches his fighting style after every round, you will have to ensure that you are good with every character on the roster to play him even remotely well. However, once you are, he can be incredibly rewarding as your opponent isn't going to know what to expect. Steve. In a world where everyone kick, this man only punch. Steve is one of the most radically different characters. Introduced in Tekken 4, he's a boxer that only uses punch buttons, with the exception of 2 stomp attacks. This speciality is hilariously accentuated with an item move, which allows Steve to kick, but he doesn't know how, so he just hurts himself. For the most part, Steve uses his leg buttons for evasive movement on offense and defense. As usual, the developers focused on creating a faithful representation of the art of boxing. This resulted in an extensive move list covering various stances and styles of actual boxing. Bears.
Panda. Panda. Really?
This might be a bit more controversial, as bears have never been a popular pick despite being staple characters. However, Kuma and Panda have always served as a welcome comedic relief in the Tekken franchise. When most characters went through their dramatic and often tragic storylines, Kuma was out there living his best life as the temporary CEO of Mishima Zaibatsu. All while Panda was shutting down his romantic advances. This sort of attitude comes through in their moveset as well. They're bears doing karate. After all, it's hard not to smile when you see some of the bear martial arts in action. Bruce. Before Brian, Josie, and Falcomram, Bruce was the original Muay Thai practitioner of the series. Despite appearing in only 3 mainline titles, he has quite a storied past. He went from a Muay Thai instructor and underground fighter to Kazuya's private mercenary and G Corporation soldier. Now that we have Falcomram, an entirely new character from Muay Thai's country of origin, it seems less likely that we will see Bruce again except for maybe an attack tournament. But it would be a treat to see one of the earliest Tekken characters enter the ring again. These are just some of the characters that we would love to see in Tekken 8, and we could easily make this list 2 or 3 times bigger. After all, Tekken has so many unique characters that we've grown to love over the decades. Judging by the rosters of the past Tekken series, Harada and his team seem to share this sentiment. If there's one thing you can rely on in a Tekken game, it's that the character select screen is going to have a dizzying amount of choice. With that said, which character do you want to see most? Let us know your favorite character and why you want them to return in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.